Hello, and welcome to this week's conference on self-love and the law of attraction. This is a relationship that many people struggle with. They they kind of view it as two separate things, but they're actually very connected, and we'll get into that more here in a bit. But as we always do, let's begin with a few minutes of just allowing ourselves to come to center and get grounded and centered. So if you would, just close your eyes or softly focus on something across the room, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Now let's just begin with breathing in. And when you get to where you would normally stop breathing in, just allow yourself to breathe in just a little bit more. And then hold for as long as comfortable, and then just let it release. We're breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Many of you already know that, but just as a review. Breathing in. And release. And as you breathe, be aware of your shoulders and your chest and your ribs, and just allow your shoulders to pull back just a little bit to a place of comfort, and then down. And that just opens up your lungs to have as much space as they can. Breathing in. And then release. Breathing in. And then release. Now just continue breathing just in as full and relaxed breaths as you feel comfortable with. And now, if you would, see yourself out in the evening, laying on the ground, looking up. It could be the grass at a park. It could be at a beach on the sand. It could be in your own backyard, but someplace or up in the mountains, someplace where there's no lights around you, so that the sky is really clear and you can really clearly see the stars. Good. And as you lay there and you're looking up at the stars, you're struck by the beauty of our universe, of our galaxy. And you are struck with how immensely spacious our universe is. And just take a moment to appreciate the power to create such a vast universe. We now have satellites and other things that we're able to explore planets and suns that are hundreds, thousands of light years from Earth. And it just continues to fill us with awe and appreciation for how vast it is, how beautiful it is. And just remember that that creative energy, that source energy that you have within you is the same energy that can create, that has created that immense universe, and yet also has the ability to delicately create a microorganism that we can only see through a very powerful microscope, and yet it is a living entity, these microorganisms. And just appreciate that we're not alone. We have a lot of strength and power and wisdom at our disposal. And all we have to do is allow that to come forth. Just allow it. Good. Now, as much as I think we would all love to spend an hour just in this beautiful energy, let's slowly come back to the here and now, bringing with us all that peace, all of that strength, all of that connectedness, groundedness, centeredness, and just bringing it back to the present moment. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome back. Just take a minute or two. You don't have to pop your eyes open right away. Just take a minute or two to slowly come back and allow yourself to become acclimated back to the present moment. Good. So, to begin, as I said in my intro that I posted, self-love is really at the core of the law of attraction, because we attract what we believe, and if we don't believe that we are worthy of the blessings that we want, we'll never get them, because it's our beliefs that attract what we want. I can declare 100 times a day that I want a 50-foot yacht. But if I don't believe that I am worthy of that I am capable of that, it'll never show up. I have to believe that I am worthy of the blessings that I desire. And that's really important. So just think about that for a little bit. Because as I said, if we feel unworthy of an increase in pay, of a loving relationship, of better health, what have you, we'll stay with what we believe we're worth. One of the things that we've talked about on a number of occasions here in these conferences is people treat us the way we teach people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. And so if I really, really want a relationship with someone who will love me and be supportive of me and encourage me, so on, and yet the way I treat myself is in contrast to that, then I will continue to attract people who treat me the way I treat myself, through my thoughts, through my actions. If I'm always putting myself last, I'm going to energetically, naturally attract people that put me last. I remember when I was younger, I used to think, well, if I put her first, or even a friend, if I put them, him or her, if I put them first, then they will want to put me first. My experience is that it doesn't work that way. Now, it will work that way if I value and appreciate myself, and I value and appreciate someone else, and so they value and appreciate me. But my experience is that it has to do more with my relationship with myself than how I'm treating them. How I treat them is important. We don't want to swing this over to the other extreme of narcissism, which I think many of us are so afraid of. We're afraid that if we do self-care, we'll breach that line into narcissism. And that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is loving, caring, and believing in ourselves. And when we do that, we attract people that love us, support us, and believe in us. And we attract them just as we attract, we will attract an income that we feel we deserve. If I have an inner belief that I am worth minimum wage, and I keep hoping to get a six-figure income, that six-figure income is not going to arrive until I do some inner work and change how I feel about myself and my own self-worth. Okay, so let me share something with you real quick. Imagine that for those of you who live outside of Washington State, imagine there's a coffee shop. Imagine that coffee shop in Washington State. There's a coffee shop just about 15-20 minutes away. I'm kind of out in out in nature, so it takes me a little bit. But there's a really great coffee shop that I like to go to, and there's a wonderful barista that works there. And I would ask you, um, do you like this barista? And of course, your response would be, I don't, I can't say that I like her. I can't say that I love her. I can't say that I respect her. I don't know her. And that's my point. We have to get to know someone before we can respect them, before we can like them, before we can love them. Now, we can respect, love, and like them in a universal way, like the way we love everybody. But to truly love that person, to truly respect that person, we have to get to know them. And so oftentimes, especially light workers and energy workers and people who tend to be rescuers, we keep saying that, okay, I need to increase my self-love, but we feel blocked. We feel like we're not making much progress with that. And I would suggest that one of the main reasons is that we need to take the time to get to know who that person is that looks us in the mirror every morning when we brush our teeth. Because until I know him, until you know her or him, we're never going to have that kind of loving relationship. It's just not there. And so we need to take the time to get to know this person. For example, one of the things I often hear when people, for example, especially with single moms, when they're going through a divorce or have gone through a divorce, and they find that that those days when the kids are at the other parent's house, there's this sense of feeling lost. And oftentimes they won't eat anything because they have no idea what I want for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. Because for so long they have thought, okay, what will my child want for dinner? Or they'll ask, okay, what does everyone want for dinner? And so now they look around and they say, okay, what does everyone want for dinner? And they're met with silence. And so it's like this very sense of loneliness. And loneliness is an important concept because we often will want to think, I'm feeling lonely because I'm disconnected from so-and-so, either my spouse, my child, whomever. However, the kind of loneliness that we're talking about here is the same kind of loneliness that we have when we're in a room full of people. So it's not disconnected from him or her or them. It's disconnected from me. It's disconnected from my inner self. I like to call it little Brad or you know, little whatever your name is. Some people, and I strongly encourage it, some people will call their inner being a nickname that they had as a child, because that kind of helps personalize that. The point is we need to develop a relationship with ourselves. And we can't develop a relationship with ourselves unless we, number one, spend some time, and number two, actively find out about ourselves. If I'll often ask people, let's say that you have gone through a breakup, divorce, or a relationship breakup, or whatever. It's been a while and you've decided to start dating again, and you meet someone that you're kind of interested in. What would you do to get to know that person? And what would you do to show that person that you care about them? And think about that, because it's different for everyone. It could be, again, this goes back to the love languages, the 5 love languages. But it could be you would send them a little note with an affirmation of, I'm thinking of you today. Or you might, I have a good friend who lives in Ohio, and her husband, she went to work before he did, and on his way to work, he would drive by and he would put a red rose on her windshield often. And it was just this expression of, I'm thinking of you and I love you, and so on. So think of yourself. How do you like to be told that you're loved? Is it with gifts? Is it with words of affirmation? Is it with physical touch? Is it with acts of service? And then, as you're getting to know yourself, do whatever that is. If it's acts of service, then do something for yourself, purely for yourself. And for many of us, that's difficult. But do something just for yourself, just to say, I love you. I love you. Or when you're buying groceries, stop at the counter and buy a rose or a small thing of flowers. It doesn't cost very much. Take it home, put it right in the middle of the main area where you spend the most time. And then that's a reminder. Yeah, I'm learning to love myself, and I'm learning to allow myself to love me. And so on. If it's words of affirmation, loving words, then write on your mirror a loving note to yourself in soap, or some people use lipstick. And I, with those messages on, other people will put them on Post-it notes and then tape it to their mirror or their refrigerator or so forth. Whether that's like your main language of love or maybe second or third, doesn't matter. And you decide to do that, because I encourage you to do more than just one type of love language. I encourage you to move it around. If you've got a Post-it note, put it up in the top left-hand corner for a few days, and then write a different one and put it up on the right hand or down below the lower right-hand corner. Move it around, because as human beings, we have a tendency to filter out things after we've seen them there for a while. So keep moving it around so it'll catch your attention, and remind you of that message that you are lovingly telling yourself. I really encourage you. I know we're all busy. I know we've all got 10,001 things to do. But I really encourage you to spend either a half hour to an hour a day, a day of doing some kind of self-care, something that will recharge your battery. And again, that really depends on you, because what recharges one person's battery might deplete another person's battery. My goodness, my angels are playing with me today. Now, I think we talked about this in previous conferences, but don't allow yourself to shrug that off with, I've got too much to do, I don't have time. Because if you will spend time every day recharging your battery, you'll actually get more done. You'll get more done because you'll be going about your day with a full battery instead of running on fumes. So finally, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with something, and I really want you to allow this in. Allow it. Open yourself and allow this. The greatest gift that you can give your kids, your pets, your spouse, your partner, your business, your employer, your friends, your neighbor, the greatest gift you can give them is a fully energized, fully realized you. So self-care is not selfish, because it blesses your kids, it blesses your spouse, it blesses your employer, it blesses everyone, because it allows you to function with a full tank. So I love you. I appreciate you. Please continue to send messages and suggestions either through Facebook messaging, or you can email me at brad@bradsimkins.com. I use them often, as you've probably heard. So please continue to share with me your thoughts, your ideas, your feedback. I welcome feedback. I'm here for you. I'm doing this to find another way to connect with you and to help you. And so as much feedback as you can give me and suggestions of what you would like us to talk about is greatly appreciated. So much love. I appreciate you, and I hope to hear from you. Until next Sunday, namaste.